So I've been super busy and I haven't really been able to respond to a lot of my asks, so I'm doing that now. Yeah, I'm bleaching my bangs, just so if you're wondering what the goo on my head is. First question. I'm a huge fan, my dear. Don't say that. Please don't do that. I hate it when people say that they're a fan. I absolutely hate it. It's weird and it freaks me out. I'm not saying like you're doing anything wrong. I just think the phrase is like really strange. Like you can say you think I'm really cool or whatever, and that's fine, but don't say you're a fan, because I'm just like a normal person. I'm not fucking Lady Gaga. Anyway, you're so true to yourself. Right on. Here's my ask. I was raised, I wasn't raised, nor have I ever been Mormon, and I know you were raised in that religion. I've always been fascinated about its cult-like secrets. I wanted to know what it was like for you being raised in that atmosphere, what rituals they did, and why you left it, and at what age you were to know that it just wasn't for you. Thanks. It's definitely a cult-like religion, and I guess they do have a lot of like weird practices and stuff, garments being one of those things. But I've noticed with a number of other Mormons that I've talked to, that there are varying views throughout like the different churches, which I thought was really interesting, because I was always taught that, for instance, I'm using this as an example, I was always taught that sex is for procreation and procreation only. But then my last partner, Jeff, he was also raised Mormon, and he was raised he was raised believing that like sex is just like because it feels cool. Like you can have sex as much as you want when you're married, even whether it's for fun or procreation, as long as you're married. So I thought that was really interesting, because I was taught something completely different. We didn't really have any like rituals. I don't really have any like exciting stories or anything. I think Mormonism is generally like pretty boring. They have like their way of handling or dealing with like the gay community is really not cool. And the way that they handle their gay members is really not cool. Either they're not so great with their gays, with the gays. But I don't know. I don't really have any cool stories. It was pretty boring. I left because it just wasn't for me, because I felt like they were fucking crazy. Their ideas weren't something that I really believed or followed. I think I was just kind of there to hang out. I appreciated being able to hang out with like older girls and have like a sense of community. Community has always been something that I've craved, and that's definitely something that you have in the Mormon Church. So yeah, I definitely was a sore thumb in that crowd. It was very obvious that I didn't belong there. I didn't participate much in church. I mean, I went, but it was just kind of like I was there more to socialize than anything else. I participated a lot in my throat is really dry. Participated a lot in like young women's and stuff, but that was mostly just because I really like doing crafty shit, and making things and food and all that stuff. I think I was 14 when I left. I stopped going to church. I stopped going to seminary. The missionaries came to visit me. They're like, why aren't you coming to church? Blah, blah, blah. My mom was not active in the church at all. She was when she was younger. The whole thing was like kind of my choice to go to church. I just felt like it was something I was like, well, like this is obviously what I do, because this is what, I don't know, this is what I do. So, yeah, but we didn't do like family home evening or anything like that. As a family, we were not a Mormon family. I was raised in a meth lab as well. Makes sense of that. So, yeah, I don't really have anything interesting to say about it. It's all pretty boring to me. Next question. Why do you hate balloons? It's just a phobia. My older brother used to pop them in my face. He's also the reason I'm claustrophobic, because he used to trap me under bed sheets and not let me out. It's not anything that's like irrational or whatever. I like balloons when I'm in control of them, but if I'm in a room and there's balloons on the floor and there are people walking around or whatever, or if there are children holding balloons or children trying to sit on balloons, I'm getting lightheaded just thinking about it. I can't handle it. I don't like being startled or scared at all. It enrages me. It makes me feel like really, really horrible. And if I'm in a situation where like there are balloons and they're out of my control and there's potential to pop them, tears will flow. I will cry. I don't like them. My phobia is by no means Maury worthy, but I don't like other people handling balloons around me. Next question. Hi, I'm a different Anon, but when you responded to the other one who said you didn't really go into depth with your son since he's 5, I'm going to stop that right there. They're referring to an ask I got about like what I tell Dimitri about being vegan, and I said that I didn't really go into depth with explaining to him why we were vegan. I'm going to continue the question now. So is that how you treat all topics, giving him the general idea but not really going into depth with it? Because I know you've said before that you're really open with him in terms of everything else, so I was just wondering. I'm not really trying to sound snoopy at all. I guess I'm just interested. I'm very open with him about everything. He understands that we're vegan because I simplified it when I responded to that by just saying that he knows it's not nice. He knows it's more than not nice. He knows that like the animals are killed, that they're hurt. He understands that cow milk is breast milk, just like my body made milk. He thinks the idea of drinking that from a cow is really weird, because it is. I don't think it's really necessary for me to go in depth on like the whole slaughtering process and how that's done. I don't think that's necessary for him at all. He has plenty of time to educate himself on that. I'm not trying to shove like my veganism down his throat, because that's a choice that he's going to make on his own if he wants to continue that. But I'm very open with him about everything. Erections, for an example. He gets erections a lot, all the time. And first time he got one, and he was very uncomfortable. And he was just like very concerned, like, whoa, what is happening with my penis? And I was like, yo, here's the deal. So, like, some stuff happens, and then, obviously this is not verbatim. I was a little bit clear with him about this. I was like, but then blood flows to your penis and it stays in there and it gets erect and it feels kind of uncomfortable and weird because your body's like not in a place to really deal with that. And it gets really sensitive, and I know it's like weird to touch and stuff. but you can do, like, whatever you want with it, whatever makes it feel better for you, that's fine. I know it's uncomfortable. And he's like, well, I have to pee. And I'm like, well, chances are you're not going to be able to pee with an erection, so you're just going to have to wait. And so he understands, for example, what an erection is, and how they work. There's also, I don't know, I feel like it's important to be open and honest, but I feel like there's a definite line between, like, oversharing and, like, giving too much information and than just, like, educating your kids. So I do my best to try to give him, like, what he needs, without giving too little and without giving too much. Just for the simple fact of, like, kids' imaginations are crazy, and sometimes giving them, like, too much information just, like, completely skews the whole idea of what you're even trying to achieve. And it can end up, like, I remember myself as a kid, people, like, trying to explain things to me and giving me too much information, and, like, me thinking things were, like, completely different than they actually were, and me having, like, these really crazy, like, vivid visualizations of things that, like, weren't even real. It was just, like, I don't know. So I'm just trying to, like, I'm trying to be real with him, but I'm trying to keep it, like, not dumbed down, but just simple enough for him. Usually with most things, I will give him more information than I do with the veganism stuff, but it's not really crucial for me to tell him, like, stop. That they slit cows'
She's not here yet.
throats. And hi, sunshine. Did you end up going out?
Huh?
Yeah,
I went out.
Where'd you go?
I went to the dark bar, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Red shoots.
Well, the high heels were too much. They were uncomfortable. I broke it.
You broke it?
Well, I mean, a little bit more.
Are you drunk?
No. I had one drink, but that was my first. Oh, your bangs looks really weird from far away, and then I realized what it was. I was like, ew.
I'm doing a vlog where I talk at it.
Did they see me walking around in the road?
They saw your butt's in the vlog.
I don't care.
It looked really cute.
I was looking for my face stubs.
Anyway, I don't need to explain to him, like,
Okay, where is she?
fuck, what are those things called? Are they called catapults? There's, like, these cans of compressed air, and then these, like, tubes, and then these metal things, and then you push a button and it shoots out a bolt, and they put it on the cows right here, and it, like, kind of just makes them into, like, zombie drill machine things, so they're, like, easier to, like, kill and stuff, and they don't freak out as much when you slit their throat. Yeah, I don't need to tell him about things like that. I really don't. So I don't. I will, maybe when he's later, maybe I won't, I don't know. But yeah, usually I'm very, very, very forward and open with him, but that's just not necessary. He understands death, he knows things die, and he gets that. But I don't really need to be, like, super in-depth and descriptive with that. So, next question. How does herpes feel? Does it feel like cuts? How long from time to time does it hurt when you pee? What are herpes symptoms? They're different for everybody. For me, herpes feels like a really terrible yeast infection. It just feels really kind of tender and itchy. Very itchy. Sometimes when I get them genitally, I get them on my perineum, and then it just feels like raw spots of skin, and that is very painful. It hurts really bad. But for the most part, my blisters are not very painful at all. Usually they take about a week to heal for me. It doesn't really burn when I pee. No, some people get UTIs or whatever when they get their outbreaks. Like I said, I get yeast infections. The symptoms of herpes vary from person to person. For me, it's a yeast infection and blisters and itching and tingling. Some people get like fevers and stuff. I don't. So, yep. Jamie, what are your thoughts? No, this is the next question. Jamie, what are your thoughts on trans ethnics? No. Next question. I'm 18 and a virgin. Not really by choice. I've never been kissed either. Shit just hasn't happened. And I received a dildo that I ordered in the mail today. Do you think it's a good idea that I use the toy even if you're a virgin? I think it's a good idea that you do whatever you want to do. It's your body. You're not going to, do any serious damage to yourself. I mean, it might be painful, but some people would rather it be painful by themselves than with other people. But do what you want to do. There's no, rule book with this stuff. It's your body. I think that's all I'm going to answer right now. But maybe I'll do some more tomorrow or something. No, I'm moving tomorrow. Maybe I'll do some more soon. I love you all. Bye.